So I'm going to work on a non-stick craft mat just to help me keep my work area clean. There's my tag. Here is my stamp on its acrylic block, one of Tim Holtz's unmounted stamps. I'm just going to ink it with lots of light tapping with my VersaFine ink pad, and then apply the stamp firmly into position on my tag. And there is my stamped image. And then take your post-it notes and the same stamp, there's no need really to ink it again, and just stamp it onto your post-it notes. That is going to be our mask, so I need to cut that out now. Obviously I'm not going to waste your time while I do that, so I do have one that I cut out earlier. So there's our mask, and what I'm going to do now is apply that to our tag to protect the stamped image while we apply our distress inks to the background. So there is our masked tag. So now we're going to apply some distress inks to the background of the tag using the alcohol ink applicator and some foam. I'll start off with orange. So here's my orange ink pad. Now the trick is to work from the outside of the tag to the center. You must keep the pad tilted away from the tag, because that way you'll avoid getting a hard line from the front of your foam pad. We're using the non-stick mat because it allows us to slide the pad along and onto the tag. So, working in light strokes. Remember, you can always add more, but you can't take away once you've applied it. And keep going. Once the pad gets a little bit dry, you can start being a bit more firm with it. But there is our orange section. So I'm now going to switch to red. And I'll start with this section of the tag. So again, keeping the pad tilted, working in from the outside to the inside. Remember to overlap your colours significantly, because that way you'll get a better blending from one to the next. I'm going to turn that around and do some more red on this side, and this time I'm going to work from the mask outwards, otherwise my mask might curl up as I'm working the pad on it. So letting the mask take the excess of most of the ink for me. Just work into the open area of the tag. And there we are, and finally I need to apply some yellow to this bottom section of the tag here. So switching to my yellow ink pad and my yellow foam, and again working from the edge of the mask, and this yellow pad is much wetter than the others, so the ink is going on much more strongly. Need to be a little bit more careful. I think I'm going to drag this yellow up through the middle of the red slightly, just to give it a little bit of a yellow tint to that area. And finally, I'll just do the last corner here. And there we have it. Our blended inks on our tag. Now while it's still quite wet, I'm going to spritz my hand with some water and then just flick that onto the tag. And while that dries a little bit, I'm going to set it to one side And there it is. Hopefully you can see on camera there the effect that the spritz water is having. Obviously when you do this at home you can leave it for longer to dry properly, or you can dry it with a heat gun if you want to move on more quickly. So this is still quite damp, but I'm going to carry on for now. So place that down, and my next stamp is going to be this Paris postmark. Again, it's one of Tim Holtz's images, and this time I'm going to stamp it with walnut stain, which is a nice dark brown ink, which I think will go quite nicely with the colours we've used so far on the tag. And I'm going to try and stamp it so the wording Carte Postale goes down the edge of the tag. So just lining that up by eye. Pressing firmly, and there is our tag. Now for one final touch, I'm going to use my brown foam and my walnut stain ink pad just to slightly put a bit of vintage shading around the edges of the tag. So again, just literally staying around the edge of the tag, not dragging it into the center at all, just to give a slight weathered or worn feel to it. And there we have it with the mask removed. And one last thing I'm going to do is just colour his crown in yellow. So I'm just going to apply my ink pad to the mat, take my water brush and just pick up all of that colour, and then just quickly paint in his crown. Now as you paint this, the colour gets paler and paler as the water seeps out of the water brush. So just pick up some more and continue. And there we go, one completed tag.